think most of the students are joined. We are going to start with the next point of this topic is a complex ion formation, or what we call as concept of inner orbital complex and outer orbital complex. This point is very important from the examination point of view, because the same point that we are going to study with the topic, that is coordination chemistry, wherein I am not going to teach you the same point, because the same point that is coming across the D block elements as well as in coordination chemistry. So I shall not teach this point while studying the coordination chemistry topic. Only we shall finish this point in this D block elements in more details. As we know that the characteristic features of D block elements is that they have partially filled D orbitals. Again, they show variable oxidation states. Moreover, these elements, they act as a catalyst. For example, nickel as a catalyst used in hydrogenation of oils such as dalda. Copper is also used in certain organic reactions as a best suitable catalyst. Iron is also used as a catalyst in the manufacture of ammonia by Haber's process in the form of Fe2O3 ferric oxide as a catalyst. So either of these elements, they are used in one or the other form in under varying conditions of temperature and pressure, so as to have the effective nature of all these elements. Also, these elements are colored in nature because they contain vacant or partially filled d orbitals. They are showing variable oxidation states, and all are metals. Availability of empty orbitals, empty 3d orbitals. Because of all these features, most of the elements from this 3d series, they form the complexes. What is a complex ion? The complex ion can be defined as a metal atom which is surrounded by definite number of other molecules, atoms, or ions. Just now we have seen that in case of TiH2O6 3+, Ti as a metal that is surrounded by 6 water molecules, which is having a titanium ion at the center surrounded by 6 water molecules in a definite geometrical shape. So this is known as the complex ion. Another example can also be given as CONH6 3+. This is also a complex ion. Another example, FeF6 3-. So all these complexes, they are either falling into inner orbital octahedral complex or outer orbital octahedral complex, what is known as a complex ion formation. Let us see how an inner orbital octahedral complex and an outer orbital octahedral complex is produced by this 3D block element. Just see, and you have to write in your notebook side by side while I am taking the examples. See this. Now here, we refer this point as complex ion formation. The same is having the title in coordination chemistry as concept of inner orbital complex and outer orbital complex. So what are these inner orbital complex or outer orbital complexes? So as just now I have seen that these elements have partly filled d orbitals, that is 3d orbitals. This is peculiarity. Secondly, presence of vacant 3d orbitals. Thirdly, availability of various oxidation states. Because of all these characteristic features, these elements can form complexes. How the complexes form? Take for instance one example. This example is a CONH3 6. You have to write side by side with me. 3 plus. This is known as a complex ion. How this complex can be shown? See this. Metal atom, that is cobalt, is present at the center. This is surrounded by, I think you are drawing side by side, surrounded by 6 ammonia molecules. I am not going to give you the notes. If you require, you can borrow from the TYBSc students, or you write side by side. Here, this is a complex ion carrying 3 plus charges. If I write Cl3, then it is not necessary to write this 3 plus, and I have not written only chloride, so this is 3 plus. So this is known as a complex ion. So we have to categorize this complex, whether this complex is a inner orbital octahedral complex or outer orbital octahedral complex. To arrive at this, one should know the electronic configuration of this cobalt. See this cobalt, you have to write side by side. Atom number 27 in terms of argon core, 3D 4s, 4s2, 3d7. 18 plus 2 is 20 plus 7 is 27. In this case, in this complex ion, cobalt is in plus 3 oxidation state. So, to arrive at plus 3 oxidation state, cobalt must lose 2 electrons from 4s and 1 electron from 3d. So, the configuration now becomes argon 3d6, 4s0. I think you are getting my point. Now, if I want to show the electronic configuration, that is a electronic configuration of this cobalt plus 3 ion, then we can show this as like this. After 4s and 3d, next higher energy level will be 4p and 4d. Sorry, 4d. Now, 3d. These are the 3d orbitals. These are the 4s orbital, 4p orbitals, and these are 4d orbitals, which are empty. Now, how can we show D6 configuration? This is a D6 configuration of cobalt. Here, loss of 2 electrons from 4s was taken place, and one of the electron, that is D7, becomes D6. Now, here we can find that there are 1, 2, 3, and 4. There are 4 unpaired electrons are there. Now here, in the formation of this complex, when ammonia molecules come closer, that means those ammonia molecules acting as an electron-rich species, which are referred as the ligands. So every ammonia molecule will contribute 2 electrons or 1 pair of electrons. So 6 ammonia molecules will contribute in all 6 multiplied by 2. 12 electrons are donated by these ammonia molecules so as to form such octahedral complex. So when 6 ammonia molecules, they come closer with the 3d orbitals of cobalt, then what will happen? Here, the resultant picture I am showing here. This is 4s, 4p, and this is a 4d. This is 3d, 4s, 4p, and 4d. So, due to approach of 6 ammonia molecules with the orbitals of this cobalt, those electrons which are unpaired, these electrons are paired like this. So, this electron gets paired up here. This electron gets paired up here, which makes available inner 2d orbitals. Now, how many electron pairs are to be accommodated? 6 electron pairs. So, first electron pair from ammonia, second pair of electron from ammonia, the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. So, all the 6 electron pairs or 12 electrons are now accommodated in 2 3d orbitals, 1 4s orbital, and 3 4p orbitals, and this hybridization is known as the D2sp3 hybridization. This is known as a D2sp3 hybridization. So you should bear in mind that whenever ammonia molecules are surrounded by this cobalt, those ammonia molecules, they produce a strong field which is known as the strong ligand field. So whenever strong ammonia molecules are approaching to the 3d orbitals of cobalt, those electrons which are unpaired, those exert sufficient pressure, and this surrounding strong ligand field does not permit these electrons to remain unpaired and forces these electrons to pair off into same 3d subshell, which makes available inner 2d orbitals for hybridization. So 2 3d orbitals, 1 4s orbital, and 3 4p orbitals, they undergo D2sp3 hybridization. Now, whether the complex that is formed by D2sp3 hybridization, whether this complex is inner orbital or outer orbital, that we have to find out. Now, while writing the electron configuration, we can start from 1s, then 2s, then 2p, then 3s, 3p, 4s, 3d. So such electronic subshells are there. So this is a 1s orbital which is close to nucleus, then 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, 4s, 3d, 4s, 4p, 4d. So as we are going farther away from nucleus, here this orbital is closer to nucleus. That means 3d orbital is closer to nucleus. So here in the formation of this complex, as these d orbitals are used, and hence this complex is known as the inner orbital complex. This complex is known as the inner orbital complex, where the metal atom undergoes a D2sp3 hybridization by pairing the electrons, and because of pairing of electrons in the ground state, in the cobalt plus 3 ion state, there were 4 unpaired electrons are there, but due to approach of strong ligand field, that is 6 ammonia molecules, these unpaired electrons exert sufficient pressure, and hence no unpaired electrons are there after gaining the electrons of ammonia molecules or after receiving the electrons from 6 ammonia molecules, thus which makes available inner 2d orbitals. So number of unpaired electrons are 0, and such complex is known as the diamagnetic complex due to absence of unpaired electrons. So here, this is how this complex, how can we define this complex? This complex is a inner orbital octahedral complex because it has used inner 2d orbitals for hybridization. Here, these are 4d orbitals which are outside this nucleus or further away from this nucleus. So if this cobalt has used either of these orbitals, then those orbitals are outer orbitals. But here 3d orbitals is inner to 4d, and hence which is closer to nucleus, hence it is known as a inner orbital octahedral complex. Metal atom has undergone D2sp3 hybridization, and this hybridization took place because of pairing of electrons which makes available inner 2d orbitals for hybridization, and such a complex which is formed does not contain any unpaired electrons, hence it is diamagnetic complex. So this is a inner orbital complex. Now come to the next complex, second complex that we are going to study. Here, second complex is Fe(F6)3-. This is known as hexafluoroferrate. Now, again, by applying the similar type of scheme, we can see in which category this complex falls, whether it is inner orbital complex or outer orbital complex. Now, iron, as we know, atom number 26. In terms of argon core, we can write the electronic configuration as argon 4s2 3d 6, atom number 26. In this case, iron is having +3 oxidation state. To show +3 oxidation state, 2 electrons from 4s must be lost and 1 electron from 3d. So the configuration becomes 3d5, 4s0, 4p0, and 4d0. These are the next higher energy level orbitals. So here, if we want to show the box diagram representation, then it can be shown as like this. This is a 3D, 4s, 4p, 4d. D orbital of iron now contains 5 electrons instead of 6 because one of the electrons lost. 4s electrons are also lost. Now, if we want to show this complex, it can be shown as like this. Fe at the center, Fe+3, which is surrounded by 6 fluorides like this. So again, if at all these 6 fluorides, they contribute 2 electrons each for the formation of such complex. Here, the head of the arrow indicates the acceptor atom, iron accepts electron, while the tail of the arrow indicates the donor atom. So fluorine donates electrons. So 6 fluorides each donate 2 electrons. So total number of electrons are 12 electrons, which are to be accommodated by this iron atom. Now, here, when fluoride atoms are present or when fluoride atoms form a complex, the field that is created by fluoride atoms is rather weak, and hence they create a weak ligand field. Ligand means it is again an electron-rich species which is capable of donating electrons to the central place atom. So whatever ligand field is there that is created by 6 fluorides, that is very, very poor, or that is very, very weak. So under the weak or poor ligand field, these electrons prefer to remain unpaired. Now question arises, the 6 electron pairs, those are to be accommodated by this cobalt. This is electronic configuration of cobalt +3 ion. Now those 6 electron pairs are now accommodated like this. So first fluorine, second fluorine, third fluorine, fourth fluorine, fifth and sixth. No effect takes place substantially on all these electrons. So we can find that there are 5 unpaired electrons are there because the surrounding ligand field which is created by fluorides is weak. So under the influence of weak ligand field, these electrons prefer to remain unpaired. Now, this is a 4s orbital. These are the 3 4p orbitals and these are 2 4d orbitals. So this is known as the sp3d2 hybridization. Now how can we classify this complex? Again, say for example, if we try to start to write down the electron configuration from 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, 4s, like this. These are the various electronics of shell. Now, as the distance from the nucleus to 4d orbitals, this is a last orbital. So this is a 4d orbitals is outer as compared to the 3d orbital, which is referred as inner, as in case of previous case. So here for this hybridization, as outer 2d orbitals are employed, and hence it is known as a outer orbital octahedral complex. This is known as a outer orbital. Why it is outer orbital? Because outer 2 4d orbitals are employed in hybridization. Also, due to presence of 5 unpaired electrons, this complex is a paramagnetic complex. This complex is referred as a paramagnetic complex. And this, why this is? Because of presence of 5 unpaired electrons. So if we want to conclude, just see here. In the previous case, this complex was produced due to involvement of inner 3D orbitals, hence it is known as the inner orbital complex. But in this complex is formed because of the involvement of outer 2D orbital complex, outer 2D orbital, hence it is known as the outer orbital octahedral complex. Here, in case of inner orbital octahedral complex, which is formed on account of strong ligands. So strong ligands does not permit the unpaired electrons to remain unpaired and forces those electrons to pair off, which reduces the number of unpaired electrons, and such complex is dimagnetic. But the case is not true in case of the outer orbital complex, which is formed on account of the use of outer 2D orbitals for hybridization. Here, under the influence of weak ligand field, these electrons prefer to remain unpaired, and because of which the complex thus formed is a paramagnetic in nature. So, in conclusion, what can we say? That whenever there is a choice of hybrid orbitals is available for the metal atom, then the metal may either choose its inner 2D orbitals for hybridization or outer 2D orbitals for hybridization. If the complex is formed by the use of inner 2D orbitals, then the resulting complex is called, as we know, it is a inner orbital octahedral complex, and the metal ion is said to be D2sp3 hybridized complex. Or alternatively, if the outer orbitals are employed, then the complex is called an outer orbital complex. So when the complex that is formed by the use of outer D orbitals for hybridization, the complex is called as a outer orbital complex. Then the metal ion will then sit to be the sp3d2 hybridized complex for a octahedral geometry. So this is how we have finished the concept of complex ion formation with regard to inner orbital octahedral complex and outer orbital complex. So from this, one can generalize the statement that the inner orbital octahedral complex are majority times dimagnetic, because for the formation of complex, the unpaired electrons should get paired so as to make available inner 2D orbitals for hybridization. And such complexes are dimagnetic. And the inner orbital complex, whenever we refer the word inner orbital complex, then the hybridization scheme should be D2sp3. We have written the D orbital first, that means it is an inner orbital complex. And whenever we write an outer orbital complex, then we have to write the hybridization is sp3d2. Here we have written D orbitals last. So after sp3, the D orbitals are written here, then the complexes are definitely outer orbital complexes. So outer orbital complexes or inner orbital complexes are formed only when D2sp3 hybridization is there, that is inner orbital octahedral complexes, which are formed only when the surrounding ligand field is strong. Strong ligand field always forms inner orbital octahedral and diamagnetic complexes, while outer orbital complex is formed. The basic requisite to form such complex is that the surrounding ligand field must be weak. So weak ligands, they can undergo, the metal atom undergo the outer orbital complex, that is a sp3d2, and such complexes are always paramagnetic. There is no question of pairing, because to have a pair, the surrounding ligand field should be very strong. But weak ligand field does not have that much energy, or weak ligand does not exert sufficient pressure to pair the unpaired electrons, and hence such complexes are paramagnetic in nature. So this is how so far we have finished the topic that is named as the study of D block elements. Now your job starts now onwards, because as soon as I finish my topic, your work starts. First of all, you have to by heart. You have to by heart